Because you've only got 20 minutes or something.
So you're saying that this is the sofa?
No, that
end. Okay.
Yeah, at the moment. So, if we were to visit them and we were walking in, there's an editing suite on that wall. Yeah. That's not going to work. But there was another. So all I have to do is not do that, innit?
Swap that over to this
Yeah.
side.
To swap it over to that side and swap the tables over to that side.
Yeah.
They look better, don't they?
Yeah.
If you was looking in and you looked at a group of tables, it looks better, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, over there.
Yeah.
So what are you going to give people to look at?
At the minute, Sam, that doesn't matter because what matters is how we're going to spend our money and what are the items that we need to get together to freeze before March.
Okay.
We can work on what people are going to look at because they're small items so they can be frozen here. We can work on that.
Have they not?
Yeah.
They've already been dealt with though, haven't they? Because they've already been in exhibition.
No, they've been in my house though as well.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so they have to come back and be frozen. So at the minute we don't have to worry about that. We have to worry about how we're going to spend our money and what we need to buy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess what's in my mind is that you might want to think about what you spend your money on for what this is going to look like as well. So you might want to change it. So I would, as a curator, thinking even when you've got this, and Nikita probably told you this stuff too.
No, go on.
But someone comes in here and they don't know what they're looking at. They look at the moment they're looking at some tables, some chairs.
Yeah.
Group of bodies sat around.
Yeah. So is there something visual that we
got a
do
film
need in
going
here
on or
at the
something
beginning?
Yeah, but we could have
we
that.
got the film, and then the film is the thing, so we make sure it's big enough on the screen
Right.
that when you come in here, you're like, oh, there is something happening
And they can
in
listen
here.
to it.
I'm going to go around and look at that. So I would be thinking, when someone comes in, I don't want them to think,
It's just some cranks out tables.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, there's something to actually think.
Something to
Yeah, so
stimulate
is
them,
there
isn't it?
something in
And to ask you questions.
That
Because we've
you
been
move
working
at
on
the
it.
end when
But
you
Linda's
finish.
right, she's thinking about all those really practical things like, we have to freeze everything before it comes in here, and we have to freeze it, so you have to think about all those practical things. She's exactly right. You have to think about all those practical things
And
at
the
same
conversation
time.
that you're talking about is another conversation in another week.
Yeah.
To get settled in our mind first, how the exhibition is, so we need to buy Reno tables. That was last week. Then this week, what does the workspace? And then another one is, all right, we know what the workspace looks like now. How do we work in some artifacts?
If you want to do it that
like,
way.
Yeah. And then, you know,
Happy
like
to go with that.
the living room can have a television that's always got the film on. Do you know what I mean? Like when people are editing over there, there's film on the wall. On the, which will be that way now, on the pin boards, there'll always be photographs.
Pictures, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like there'll be shelving because we need it. There can be bottles on the shelving. Do you know, that's like dressing it afterwards. But first of all, we have to know that we're buying so many tables, we're buying so many chairs. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm happy with
And
that.
to save our budget, can we have the shit black sofas and then put throws on them? Because sofas are like 800-900 quid. If we buy 4 of them, that's a lot out of our
Let's have a
budget.
talk about it.
Yeah, and then if we just buy some nice throws, for 6 months they'll only be there. If we buy some nice throws, some nice cushions and a really nice rug, do you know what I mean? Like we can make a living area.
Or we
just
choose
use-
sofas
and we don't have to
that
freeze
I
them.
buy them and then I use them in another exhibition later and just
Yeah,
make that the
that's
art
absolutely fabulous.
Anyway,
That's all right. Hold on a minute, Barrie. Let's go on.
Yeah.
Go
Do you
on.
know those tables you got out there?
yeah.
Can we paint them?
No, all you've got to do is...
They're part of an exhibition.
Are they? Yeah. All right, well, forget it then.
No, we're just going to
Using
buy.
something like that and just covered in the top.
No, we can just buy pub tables. Tables that was 4 mica tables that was in the arena. They're like a tenner a pop. They're dead cheap. You can grind it. You can get.
Shop on Brooks Park. It's
Can you get them here?
Yeah,
And
it's not a
upstairs,
problem.
there's furniture thrown in a
Right,
pile,
you
and
just
you
get
let you take what you
right.
want.
Yeah,
what
so
I'm looking
that's
at.
not a problem.
I'll look this way.
And the mirror, yeah, and things like that. But it's just like, yeah, it's just about getting the workspace to be useful. Do you know what I mean? Like that we've got a space where we can all chat. I think the tables would look better there. That we've got pin boards. Because pin boards will cost about 40-50 quid each, you know. That's even making them.
Yeah.
You know, that size cork is expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, so, yeah.
So you
Especially
might
for
not
that
want
size.
corkboard, like Amy's used this time metal with. Have you seen what she's got around there?
No. We need to be able to pin on them.
Well, you see, I mean, I don't want to say health and safety, but I'm going to say health and safety.
Are we not allowed pins? Probably not. So you're going to use
So like this is metal, and then it's magnets. So you can move
The whole wall's metal.
this bit. So that's, Amy had the same issue, like how am I going to do this? How am I going to put everything? Yeah, you touch it in between, yeah. So you can see.
So what's she doing with the metal?
Well, if you want it, we can have it.
Right,
we'll
we
have
need
it.
Yeah, we need
Yeah, we'll have it. Or we can move it to where we want it.
Yeah, we can have it on the wall. It's perfect. That's kind of what I had in
There's just a
mind.
different.
That's good, that.
No, but that's why I designed. If we was had this, we could move the photos around.
Yeah.
It's about, in fact,
Can we have that?
for freedom.
Yeah. Honestly.
I like that
That
stand.
speaks to me.
Yeah, it's great.
no black.
Or you might decide that you want it a bit longer
That
than
speaks to
if
me.
you're moving it there. Maybe you need it bigger.
Yeah. No, that's really great.
Something like that.
Yeah. That way you can leave our table, put loads of things on the keyboard, which one's our plan will be on it. And
And something big, sort of behind.
This one or that one? Potentially go.
That's a really good. So is that 2 weeks?
Yeah, like that. Yeah, like that size will be perfect. Yeah. And I was thinking on cutting through the middle as well, because then aesthetically your eye sees 4 stations.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? As opposed to just a jumble.
Where's Nikita?
Yeah.
So, Nikita's want to be on, but I'm trying to bring in her curatorial expertise.
Massive, yeah, but there is loads of pictures, isn't there? So.
We wouldn't have an exhibition where things are symmetrical. Because it just doesn't look as good as having things that are off.
Offset.
But you'll know, but it sort of doesn't matter because when you're coming
These
in
are
here
where you can down
and
the
you're
so
bringing,
yeah, well, this is not going to look.
and do you know
right, what if you do it this
It'll
way?
just be the day when we bring the
Yeah, exactly. And like in a house. I'm just thinking about workstations. There needs to be a station that's like the engineer station.
Yep.
One where we can all talk, one that we can have a meeting and people can chat to us. And one what's the editing suite. So if John's cutting film, nobody else is in his space, do you know? And then a flow that can walk through and to spend as least money as we can because building the thing's going to be more expensive.
Yeah, I mean that's another conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, because we're going to need loads of board to build it and everything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And we've got to buy them.
Sometimes something that I do is try and stop there being a flow. So if it's too easy for people to walk through a space,
What about if you just go,
go into the exhibition and then there's something in your way and like, oh, I've got to go
big
round
gate that
this.
comes down.
And that's to make people stop so they can't just do that, walking from there to there. But again, when we're installing, that can be played around with.
Yeah.
Or if you've got work there, then people will stop and move back. So just something that makes people, I mean, Nikita studies this, she knows, like, makes people move, like, you're in control, you can direct how people walk around your space. You're sort of in charge of this space.
so should we make that next week, folks, thinking about that? Yeah. Thinking about on doing our plan and thinking about what Sam's
What
just
I think is
said.
that you don't really need me, like, you've got brilliant content, you know exactly what you're doing, you know what you want to talk about, what's really important. At the moment, I feel like the things I can do are practical things, that I can help you with information, but you don't need a curator to come in and curate your project.
These are the curators.
Yeah. So if you just
Creators.
let me know sort of what are the useful things I can do.
No, but it's been useful what you've just said there,
yeah,
because we can add that in next week and then have a
Now
real
you've given us
conversation.
sofas, you've given us the metal wall.
Like I said, maybe, right? Maybe
Oh,
I can
Sam,
figure out
that's
ways
too
to
late
get
for
out.
that now.
No, that's meddling now, Sam.
We will be getting it.
And the map,
We have to start thinking about our next exhibition.
I know.
yeah,
What
you
do I
can.
need sofas for?
But yeah.
Also, it was good for you to hear what it is that everyone is going to be doing with this space.
Yeah.
You saw the big picture.
Your direction
that
again was there,
going
was
down.
good. You know,
Yeah.
it helps us to
Yeah, made us think.
think
Yeah.
and picture how we're going to do it.
Yeah, I
Or
when
stopping
when
people
I'm
from
working
going
with
through.
artists, my
Yeah.
job is sort of to find a way to check that I think what they're doing is interesting and important and it works, but to find a way of making what they want to do happen. And it's always like a whole load of negotiation and thinking about it. But I think that's sort of my job, is to help you make what you want to happen as much as I can.
But in a side-eye exhibition, the idea is it's an experience, not just a thing, and there will be no white space. That the whole thing will be covered in photographs, floor, ceiling, everything.
Well, that's the beginning of the discussion.
Yeah.
You know, you start with never thinking about your limits, because then that just makes you close down what you're thinking to begin with. And then as that develops, we'll, work